Haïti, Haïti, l'amour, l'amour, la paix, la paix, la pasteur, MC Medefio.
Claire Motel is a refugee whose plight was caused by so-called free trade. No gunboats were involved, only international loans.
La vie a tellement dit, même si vous avez $50 dans mon qui pipiti, ou pas qu'à faire manger avec elle, ou pas qu'à faire rien avec les tant de femmes. Ou obligé chita, c'est commerce pour ta fait. L'on fait commerce au moins femme ou obligé. Parce que Port-au-Prince de l'eau c'est acheter. Tout ça ou besoin c'est acheter. La vie a venu au moins du pour, mais si ou femme ou fait commerce. Ou à petit gens, même si c'est pas solution à joindre non, moi à petit gens, mais c'est chita chaque jour lever et femme mouiller de l'eau c'est acheter ça c'est acheter.
Claire Martel was once a rice producer here in the Artibonite region, but was forced to abandon her land.
Le premier coup reçu par la production agricole, ça a été le processus de libéralisation entamé avec le coup d'État dans les années tout de suite après 86. On a eu une invasion du marché national par une énorme quantité de riz à très bon marché, avec des différences énormes par rapport au prix du riz national. Ça aussi a conduit à un appauvrissement rapide des producteurs paysans qui aujourd'hui sont dans la misère, ils sont obligés d'émigrer vers Port-au-Prince, vers la ville, pour chercher du travail qu'ils ne trouvent pas d'ailleurs.
The demand to liberalize Haiti's market and those of many other developing nations came from Washington. It was a condition for a loan from the International Monetary Fund, an organization established after the Second World War to promote, among others, Ricardo's ideas of free trade to generate growth.
The Allies had barely landed at Normandy when the idea of a monetary fund began to move rapidly from concept to reality. The idea was that by working together to increase world economic welfare, nations would also increase the chance of political peace. With war still raging, the foundation was laid for the International Monetary Fund.
From the 1950s, and particularly during the 1960s, many countries became independent. Countries that we now call developing countries or emerging markets began to have stronger growth prospects. They tried to borrow in order to finance the investments they needed, and then they started to run into trouble.
When countries face economic crises or want to prevent them, they can turn to the IMF for advice and loans to help put out their fire and restore stability. Any member of the IMF, be it rich, middle income, or poor, can ring the bell to ask for a loan. These loans come in various shapes and sizes. They're cheaper than other sources and are tailored to specific needs.
They came in and said, all right, we'll give you bridge loans, we'll help you pay, restructure your debt, but there will be conditions. The conditions were essentially those of extreme free market ideology and opening the country to outright pillage by transnational corporations.
Look, don't give me a hard luck story. I hear them every day, and quite frankly, they bore me. The facts are simple. In 1973, this bank gave you a loan, and you still haven't paid it back.
If these countries get into trouble and can't make their payments to their external creditors, should you let them fall, which is what they did in the interwar period between World War I and World War II, and that was very bad, or do you bring in a more multilateral body based on a ideally rules-based system to manage the renegotiation of debts and to help put the country on a more sustainable path?
Times are tough, and we're all having to clamp down. And don't look at me like that. This is a bank, not a charity.
In Ghana, as in Haiti, loans to alleviate the country's debt were given on condition of opening up the country's economy to foreign investment. The program even has a neutral name, Structural Adjustment Program.
This market shows to you the mass unemployment that is in Ghana. You see across the street everywhere, people are selling goods and services, and it's become part of the informal sector. Products of Thailand, American rice, Vietnamese rice. This is rice that we are now importing. So this is what happens when you liberalize the economy. Cheap importation of goods, of these goods and services coming in at the expense of local manufacturing business.
On a eu, il y a une vingtaine d'années, des critiques contre la mondialisation. Leur argument principal était ce système n'est pas bon pour les pays en développement. Parce que ouvrir la concurrence entre des pays pauvres et des pays riches, entre des pays faibles et des pays puissants, c'est le pot de terre contre le pot de fer. Le pot de terre sera toujours perdant.
Ce mécanisme supposé vertueux chez les économistes où un pays possède un autre pays et investit son capital dans un autre pays, ça n'a pas du tout marché. Parce que, en fait, être possédé par un autre pays, c'est pas forcément un gage de développement humain, social et politique réussi.
Liberalizing our economy meant to open up your markets to foreign interests. So therefore, most of the state industries that you see around us were either sold off to foreign private investors or were knocked down and new buildings were built.
L'expérience prouve, si vous regardez l'histoire économique des 50 dernières années, que les pays qui ont ouvert leurs échanges ont eu, en moyenne, des résultats économiques et donc, dans la plupart des cas sociaux, bien meilleurs que les États qui ne l'ont pas fait ou qui l'ont fait dans une moindre mesure.
I'm Amy Goodman here with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, as people around the world continue to protest the soaring prices of basic food items, the World Food Program has described the crisis as a silent tsunami.
In its report, the UN faulted the so-called liberalization program for gutting agricultural production. Developing countries did not only fail to industrialize, they lost their capacity to feed their people.
Nowhere is this perhaps more clear than in the case of Haiti. 30 years ago, Haiti had all the rice it needed. Then in 1986, Haiti turned to the IMF for a loan. Now, after cutting tariff protections on local rice, Haiti imports most of its rice from the United States, which in turn remains heavily subsidized.
Since 1981, the United States has followed a policy that we rich countries that produce a lot of food should sell it to poor countries and relieve them of the burden of producing their own food. So thank goodness they can leap directly into the industrial era. It has not worked. It's maybe been good for some of my farmers in Arkansas, but it has not worked. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that I was a party to. I am not pointing the finger at anybody. I did that. I have to live every day with the consequences of the lost capacity to produce a rice crop in Haiti to feed those people.